Oprah Winfrey. From dirt floors to a media empire. Made by Angley Tales.
Part 1. Dirt Floors and Dreams. Oprah Winfrey was born in Mississippi in 1954. Her first home was very simple. The floors were made of dirt, not wood. There was no running water and no electricity. Her grandmother, Hattie Mae, took care of her while her mother worked far away. Every morning, Oprah woke up on the small farm. She could hear roosters and smell wood smoke from the kitchen fire. The house was old and had cracks in the walls. At night, they used candles because there was no electric light. But something special happened in this poor place. When Oprah was only 3 years old, she could read. She would sit with the big family Bible and read the words out loud. People at church were amazed. That little girl reads better than children twice her age, they said. Her grandmother saw that Oprah was different. "You speak well, child," she told her. "Never let anyone say you're not smart enough." Every Sunday, they walked to the small wooden church. Oprah would stand in front of all the adults and say Bible verses from memory. Other children had store-bought toys. Oprah made friends with the farm animals instead. She talked to the pigs and chickens like they were people. She told them stories about her dreams. One day, she said to a pig named Sarah, "I will see the whole world." Life was not easy. Sometimes there wasn't enough food. Oprah wore dresses made from old flour sacks because they had no money for new clothes. But her grandmother always said, "We don't have much money, but we have something better. We have love and hope." At night, Oprah lay in her small bed and looked at the stars through the window. She dreamed about places far from the farm. When Oprah was 6, her grandmother became sick. She could no longer take care of her. Oprah had to leave the farm and go live with her mother in Milwaukee, a big city. The night before leaving, Hattie Mae took her outside under the stars. "Remember where you came from," her grandmother said. "These dirt floors taught you to dream of better things. Don't forget when you become successful." The little girl from the dirt floor farm didn't know it yet, but she was starting an amazing journey. Part 2. A Hard Life in the City. Milwaukee was nothing like the farm. The city was big, loud, and full of strangers. Oprah's mother, Vernita, lived in a small apartment with Oprah's half-sister and half-brother. There was no space for a little girl who was used to open fields and talking to animals. Vernita worked long hours cleaning houses for rich families. She left early in the morning and came home tired at night. Oprah rarely saw her mother, and when she did, Vernita seemed angry about everything. The bills, the noise from neighbors, the children who needed attention she didn't have time to give. The apartment was crowded and dark. Oprah missed her grandmother's warm hugs and kind words. She missed the farm animals who listened to her stories. In Milwaukee, no one seemed to have time to listen to anything she said. At school, Oprah was different from the other children. She could read better than kids much older than her. But her clothes were old and didn't fit well. Some children made fun of her southern accent and the way she spoke. "You talk funny," they would say. "You think you're better than us." But Oprah found safety in books. When life at home was too hard, she would go to the library and read for hours. She read about faraway places and brave people who overcame difficult times. Books became her best friends in a city where she felt alone. Things got worse when Vernita had to work even more hours. Sometimes Oprah stayed with relatives who didn't really want her there. She moved from house to house, never feeling like she belonged anywhere. Some of the adults in her life hurt her in ways that no child should ever be hurt. During these dark times, Oprah kept her grandmother's words in her heart. "Don't forget where you came from," Hattie Mae had said. Oprah remembered the dirt floors. But she also remembered the love and the dreams. She told herself that this hard life was not the end of her story. At night, when the apartment was finally quiet, Oprah would look out the window at the city lights. They weren't as beautiful as the stars over her grandmother's farm, but they reminded her that there was a big world out there. Somewhere in that world, she believed, there was a place where she would be safe and loved. School became her escape. Her teachers noticed that she was smart and loved to read. One teacher, Mrs. Duncan, saw something special in Oprah. "You have a gift with words," she told her. "Don't let anyone take that away from you." Oprah started to dream again. Maybe she couldn't control what happened at home, but she could control how hard she worked at school. She studied late into the night, even when there was no quiet place to do homework. She practiced reading out loud, just like she used to do with her grandmother. The city was teaching Oprah hard lessons about life, but it was also making her stronger. Every difficult day made her more determined to create a better future for herself. Part 3. Finding her voice. When Oprah was 13, her mother couldn't handle her anymore. Oprah was sent to live with her father, Vernon, in Nashville, Tennessee. Vernon was very different from her mother. He was strict but cared about education and hard work. "You're going to make something of yourself," Vernon told her. "But you have to follow my rules." He made her read books every week and write reports about them. At first, Oprah thought this was punishment. Later, she realized it was a gift. Vernon's wife, Zelma, was kind to Oprah. For the first time in years, Oprah had regular meals, clean clothes, and her own room. Most importantly, she felt safe. At East Nashville High School, something amazing happened. Oprah discovered she had a special talent for speaking in front of people. When she stood up to give presentations, her voice became strong and clear. The words just flowed naturally. Her English teacher noticed this gift. "Oprah, you have a natural way with people," she said. "You should join the speech team." Oprah agreed to try. The first time she competed, Oprah was nervous. She was competing against students from wealthy schools. But when she began to speak, something incredible happened. The room became completely quiet. Everyone listened to every word. She won that contest. Then another, and another. Soon, people across Nashville knew about the young girl who could make audiences laugh, cry, and think just by talking to them. Oprah's greatest moment came when she spoke at a church in Los Angeles. She was only 17, but she spoke to thousands of people about overcoming difficult times. After her speech, people came up with tears in their eyes. "You told my story," one woman said. "You made me feel like I'm not alone." That night, Oprah understood something important. Her painful experiences were tools that helped her connect with other struggling people. Vernon kept Oprah focused. "Speaking well is a gift, but you need education and discipline too," he said. By high school graduation, Oprah had won many contests and received a scholarship to Tennessee State University. More importantly, she had found her voice. The scared little girl from Milwaukee was becoming a young woman who could inspire others. Part 4. Learning to Shine. At Tennessee State University, Oprah studied speech and drama. She loved learning about communication and how to connect with people. But something unexpected happened during her sophomore year. A local radio station, WVOL, was looking for someone to read the news. They had heard about the young woman who won speech contests. One day, they called Oprah for an audition. "I don't know anything about radio," Oprah told them honestly. But they liked her voice and the way she spoke. "You have something special," the station manager said. "We can teach you the rest." At 19, Oprah became the youngest person and first Black woman to read news at WVOL. She went to college during the day and worked at the radio station at night. It was tiring, but she loved it. Every evening, she would sit in front of the microphone and share the day's news with Nashville. But Oprah did something different from other newsreaders. She made the news feel personal. It sounded like she was talking to a friend, not reading from a script. People started calling the station just to tell Oprah how much they enjoyed listening to her. "You don't just read the news, you make me care about it," one listener wrote. The radio work taught Oprah important lessons. She learned how to use her voice to paint pictures in people's minds. She learned how to make strangers feel like friends. Most importantly, she learned that being herself was more powerful than trying to sound like everyone else. Soon, other stations began to notice Oprah. A television station heard about the young radio star with the warm, friendly voice. "Television is the future," Vernon told his daughter. "TV will let people see your face when you speak. That's even more powerful." Oprah was excited to try. When she walked into her first TV studio, Oprah saw bright lights, big cameras, and people with headsets. It looked complicated and frightening. But when the red light turned on and she began to speak, something wonderful happened. She felt the same magic from her high school speeches. The camera didn't scare her. It felt like talking to one person who really wanted to hear what she had to say. Part 5. Too emotional for news. In 1976, Oprah got her first big television job. WJZ-TV in Baltimore offered her a position as a news anchor. At 22, she was thrilled. This was a major television station in a big city. But from the first day, Oprah struggled. The news director wanted her to be serious and cold when reporting tragic stories. "Don't show emotion," he told her. "Just read the facts and move on." This was impossible for Oprah. When she reported about house fires or accidents, tears came to her eyes. When she talked about families losing their homes, her voice shook with feeling. The bosses were not happy. "You're too emotional," they said. News anchors don't cry on television. They tried to change everything about Oprah. They didn't like her hair, so they sent her to an expensive salon. The chemicals burned her scalp, and her hair started falling out. For months, she had to wear wigs on television. They told her to lose weight and sent her to speech lessons to sound more professional. Every change made Oprah feel less like herself. The worst part was reading stories about people's pain without showing she cared. One day, after reporting about a man's death, she learned he had 3 young children. She started crying right there in the newsroom. "What's wrong with you?" her boss asked. "It's just a story." But for Oprah, it wasn't just a story. It was about real people with real feelings. Her ratings were terrible. After 8 months, they took her off the evening news completely. Oprah felt like a failure. All her life, she had been successful with speaking. Now experts were telling her everything natural about her was wrong. "Maybe I'm not meant for television," she told Vernon. Her father listened carefully. "Oprah, they're trying to make you into someone you're not. The gift God gave you is being yourself." Instead of firing her, the station had one more idea. There was a struggling morning talk show that needed a new host. "It's not really journalism," the news director said. "But maybe you'll be better at chatting with people." He said it like punishment, but Oprah felt hope. Part 6. Finding Her True Path. The morning talk show was called People Are Talking. It was nothing like the serious evening news. Oprah would interview local guests about everyday topics: cooking, family problems, community events. Many people at the station thought this was a step backward for her career. But on her first day hosting the show, something magical happened. Oprah felt comfortable again. She could be herself. When guests told their stories, she could show that she cared. When something was funny, she could laugh. When something was sad, she could cry. The show was live, which meant everything happened in real time. There were no scripts to read, no bosses telling her exactly what to say. Oprah could ask the questions she really wanted to ask. She could have real conversations with real people. Her co-host was surprised by how natural she seemed. "Yesterday you looked nervous reading the news," he said. "Today you look like you've been doing this for years." Oprah smiled. "This doesn't feel like work," she said. "This feels like talking to friends." The viewers felt it too. Within weeks, the show's ratings began to climb. People called the station to say how much they enjoyed watching Oprah. "She makes me feel like she really listens," one viewer wrote. "She asks the questions I would ask." What made Oprah different was how she connected with guests. When a woman talked about losing her job, Oprah remembered being poor as a child. When a man discussed feeling lonely, Oprah thought about those dark nights in Milwaukee. Her own pain helped her understand other people's pain. After 2 years in Baltimore, Oprah got an offer that would change her life. A failing talk show in Chicago needed a new host. The show was called AM Chicago, and it was losing badly to other morning programs. "Chicago is a big city," the station manager told her. "This could make your career, or it could end it. The show is in last place. If you can't fix it, we'll cancel it completely." Oprah was nervous but excited. Chicago felt like a fresh start. She had learned important lessons in Baltimore. She knew that trying to be someone else didn't work. Her only chance of success was being completely herself. On January 2, 1984, Oprah walked into her first Chicago television studio. The crew wasn't sure what to expect. They had seen many hosts try and fail with this show. But when the cameras started rolling and Oprah began talking with her first guests, everyone could feel the difference. She wasn't just hosting a show. She was creating a space where people could share their real stories and feel truly heard. Within 1 month, AM Chicago went from last place to first place in the ratings. Oprah had found her true calling. Part 7. The Oprah Show begins. The success of AM Chicago was incredible. Within months, everyone in Chicago knew Oprah's name. But something even bigger was about to happen. Television executives across America were watching this amazing woman who could make people laugh, cry, and think all in 1 hour. In 1985, a major television company offered Oprah something that seemed impossible. They wanted to take her show nationwide. It would be called The Oprah Winfrey Show and would be on television screens across America every single day. "Are you ready for this?" the executives asked her. Oprah thought about the little girl on the dirt floor farm who dreamed of seeing the world. "I've been ready my whole life," she answered. On September 8, 1986, The Oprah Winfrey Show aired for the first time nationally. Millions of people across America watched Oprah talk with her guests about topics that mattered to real families. The show was an instant hit. But Oprah did something different from other talk show hosts. While other shows focused on shocking stories and fights between guests, Oprah chose to talk about things that could help people improve their lives. She discussed books, health, relationships, and personal growth. "I don't want to just entertain people," Oprah told her producers. "I want to make their lives better. I want them to learn something that helps them when they turn off the TV." Her approach worked incredibly well. When Oprah recommended a book on her show, millions of people would buy it. When she talked about a social issue, people across the country would start discussing it. She had become more than just a TV host. She was a teacher and friend to millions. What made Oprah special was her honesty about her own life. She talked about her difficult childhood, her struggles with weight, and her mistakes. This made viewers feel like they knew her personally. "She's been through what I've been through," people would say. The show tackled serious topics, too. Oprah discussed racism, poverty, abuse, and other problems that many talk shows avoided. But she always did it with hope and solutions, not just sadness and anger. Every day, millions of Americans would stop what they were doing at 4 p.m. to watch Oprah. She became part of their daily routine, like having coffee with a wise friend who always had something important to say. Within 2 years, the Oprah Winfrey Show became the most popular talk show in America. The little girl who once felt like nobody would listen to her now had the attention of an entire nation. But Oprah never forgot where she came from. At the end of each show, she would look directly into the camera and speak to her viewers like they were sitting in her living room, just like she used to talk to the animals on her grandmother's farm. Part 8. More than just a host. As the Oprah Winfrey Show became more successful, Oprah realized something important. Other people were making a lot of money from her work, but she wasn't in control of her own show. The television company owned everything: the show, the profits, even her name on the title. "This doesn't feel right," Oprah told her best friend Gail. "I'm doing all the work, but other people are making the big decisions about my show." She decided to do something that very few television hosts had ever done before. In 1988, Oprah started her own production company called Harpo Productions. Harpo was Oprah spelled backward. Now she would own her show instead of just hosting it. Many people in television thought this was a mistake. "You're just a host," they told her. "You don't know how to run a business." But Oprah had learned important lessons from her grandmother and father about hard work and believing in yourself. She hired smart people to help her and learned everything she could about the television business. The change was incredible. Now Oprah could decide what topics to discuss on her show. She could choose which guests to invite and what stories to tell. Most importantly, she could make sure her show always tried to help people instead of just entertaining them. Being a business owner was not easy. Oprah had to make difficult decisions about money, hiring people, and planning for the future. But she discovered she was good at business just like she was good at talking to people. "I treat my business like I treat my show," she explained. "I care about the people who work for me, and I try to make smart choices that help everyone succeed." Other television companies wanted to work with Harpo Productions. They saw that Oprah knew what audiences wanted to watch. Soon her company was producing other shows and movies, not just her daily talk show. Some people in Hollywood didn't like that a black woman from Mississippi was becoming so powerful in television. They tried to create obstacles for her business. But Oprah had faced discrimination before, and she knew how to stay strong. "Every time someone tells me I can't do something because of who I am or where I came from," Oprah said, "it just makes me work harder to prove them wrong." By the 1990s, Oprah was not just a famous talk show host. She was one of the most powerful people in all of television. She owned her show, her production company was successful, and she was making her own decisions about her career. The little girl who once had no control over where she lived or what happened to her had become a woman who controlled a media empire. But she never forgot the most important lesson from her difficult childhood. Success means nothing if you don't use it to help others. Part 9. Helping others. With great success came great responsibility. Oprah never forgot what her grandmother had taught her about helping others. Now that she had money and influence, she wanted to use both to make the world better. In 1996, Oprah started something that changed American culture: Oprah's Book Club. Every month, she would choose a book and discuss it on her show. Whatever book Oprah recommended would become a bestseller almost immediately. "Reading saved my life when I was a child," Oprah explained to her viewers. Books can change your life too. They can take you to places you've never been and teach you things you never knew. Millions of Americans started reading books because Oprah told them how powerful reading could be. But Oprah's biggest dream was to help children who grew up like she did, poor and without good educational opportunities. She remembered how education had changed her life, and she wanted to give that same chance to others. In 2007, Oprah opened a school for girls in South Africa called the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy. She didn't just donate money, she was involved in every detail. She helped design the buildings, chose the teachers, and even interviewed each student personally. "These girls remind me of myself at their age," Oprah said, watching the students study in their beautiful new classrooms. "They have big dreams but need someone to believe in them and give them a chance." The school provided everything the girls needed: food, housing, books, and excellent teachers. But most importantly, it gave them hope. Many of these girls became the first in their families to attend university. Oprah also used her show to bring attention to important social problems. When she talked about issues like poverty, racism, or children's rights, millions of people would learn about these problems for the first time. Politicians and world leaders wanted to appear on her show because they knew she could influence public opinion. Her charity work extended far beyond the school in Africa. Oprah donated millions of dollars to universities, disaster relief, and programs that helped women and children. She never forgot what it felt like to be hungry, homeless, or hopeless. "I believe that what you get in life, you must give back," Oprah often said. "My success means nothing if I don't use it to lift up others who are still struggling." What made Oprah's charity work special was that it wasn't just about money. She gave her time, attention, and heart to every cause she supported. She visited the places she helped and met the people whose lives were changed by her generosity. People around the world began to see Oprah not just as an entertainer, but as someone who truly cared about making life better for others. The scared little girl who once felt powerless had become a powerful force for good in the world. Part 10. The Empire Grows. After 25 years, the Oprah Winfrey Show came to an end in 2011. Many people thought this meant Oprah was retiring. But she had bigger plans. She wanted to create something that would last long after she was gone. Oprah launched her own television network called OWN, O-W-N, the Oprah Winfrey Network. This was incredibly risky. Many new television networks fail, and Oprah was investing millions of her own money. "People think I'm crazy," she said, "but I believe in dreams that seem impossible." The first years of OWN were difficult. The ratings were low, and many shows were canceled. Critics said Oprah had made a huge mistake. Some business experts predicted the network would close within 2 years. But Oprah had learned how to overcome failure. She remembered being told she was too emotional for news, and how that led her to talk shows. She remembered every difficult moment in her childhood that had made her stronger. "Failure is just information," Oprah said during this challenging time. "It tells me what doesn't work so I can find what does work." She changed the programming, hired new people, and kept believing in her vision. Slowly, OWN began to succeed. The network started producing shows that reflected Oprah's values, programs about personal growth, family relationships, and overcoming challenges. Viewers began to trust that anything on OWN would be worth watching. By 2025, Oprah had become one of the richest self-made women in American history. Her wealth was estimated at over $2.5 billion. But money was never her real goal. "Wealth means having enough to give away," she often said. Throughout her journey, Oprah never forgot the people who helped her along the way. She stayed close to her father, Vernon, until he passed away. She maintained friendships with teachers who believed in her when she was young. She regularly visited her school in Africa and watched her students grow into successful women. Most importantly, Oprah never forgot where she started. In interviews, she would still talk about the dirt floor farm and her grandmother's wisdom. She kept a picture of Hattie Mae in her office to remind herself that success means nothing without remembering your roots. "I am the same person who talked to pigs and chickens on that farm," Oprah said in one interview. "Success didn't change who I am inside. It just gave me a bigger platform to share love and hope with the world." The little girl who once dreamed under the stars in Mississippi had built an empire that reached millions of people around the globe. But her greatest achievement wasn't her wealth or fame. It was showing the world that no matter where you start in life, you can rise to incredible heights if you believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams.
Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe to English Tales, and let's keep learning English through amazing stories together.